'cause you got stuck in my mind, stuck in my mind, stuck in my mind. I thought I'd give.
All right, the next thing that we need to learn is we need to familiarize ourselves with what options are available to us once we've created our new document in Photoshop. So over here on the left-hand side, you will see your tool ribbon. That's what this is called, your tool ribbon. And sometimes this will be displayed as two up, meaning like there will be two tools side by side over here, depending on your resolution of your computer and things like that. But it's always, you can always see your tools, and then if you click and hold down on these tools, you'll see additional tools that might be hidden below that tool. So see, if I click the selection tool over here, I'll see that I can do a marquee rectangle selection. I can do an elliptical marquee selection if I do this. So I can just click and hold, and then you'll see this little sub menu fly out with additional tools that are hidden below that. And then once I select a tool, let's say I hit the text tool, and I'm going to do horizontal text and just click over here and start horizontal text. You'll see that up here in the top row in Photoshop, this is where your tool options will appear. And for each tool, they're different. So right now I have the text tool selected, so those text tool options are going to show up here in the top. And then normally if I have any options that I have not chosen or have not actually selected, you will see these two buttons right here over on the right hand side of this tool options area. This one is to discard changes or cancel the changes. So if I do something and I really don't like it, like let's say I change this to butts are us. I don't know what you could put right there, but if I don't like it for whatever reason, I can hit cancel and then it will go away. All right, but if I were to type in forward in faith and I'm ready to actually use that, I would come up here and hit the commit button. So that is the check button. Basically, it locks in whatever options you selected, and you can hit the checkbox. Now, you can always come in here and change these after the fact, but just so you know, that basically puts these things on your document. And you'll see over here in the right-hand side, now I've got that text layer that's appeared, and it's in the layers palette over here on the right-hand side. Okay, the third area that you need to familiarize yourself with are the palettes. And those palettes are over here on the right-hand side. And you can turn palettes on and off by going up to the window option and finding whichever palette you want to turn on and off. So let's say I want to turn on the history palette. See, it doesn't have a checkbox by it, so it's not currently showing. But if I hit history palette, now my history palette pops out and I can see it. Now it was always right here, just so you know, it was always right here. But if I can't see it for whatever reason, I can come over here and hit that history palette and it will pop out. All right, so a lot of people that use Photoshop, you can use it for about 1 million different things. You can use it for video, you can use it for illustration, you can use it for painting, you can use it for graphic design. So people have their own unique ways of setting this up. So let's say I know that as a graphic designer, I'm going to use that history palette like all the time. Okay, well then I'm going to just make sure that I've got this clicked and I can actually drag it out. I can put it in a position that I like. Say I always want it to look like that. Well, then I can come over here and I can save my workspace. I can come up here to Workspace and I can say Lock Workspace, or I can hit New Workspace and I can basically set my palettes and all my tools up the way that I wanted them to be set up. So that's how I would do that. I would hit New Workspace, or I would hit Lock Workspace. Now, there's some preset workspaces that you can already, use. And so most of the time I live in the essentials world. I don't change it too much because that's how I've always used Photoshop. But you can also come up here and change your workspaces to these other options. Let's just try it so you can see what happens. So you'll see it resets all of my tools. It comes over here and it makes sure, okay, if you're going to be a painter, you need to have the swatches palette be right in front of you at all times. And so that is what that workspace is doing. Now if I come over here and I hit 3D, for instance, let's see what it does for that. And we need to learn about that. We'll learn about that later. But anyway, so now you can see the 3D options that are here in Photoshop. And so it's changed all of my settings to basically put the things that they think that you're going to use the most often to be able to do 3D. That's what that's doing. Okay, now if, let's say I have come over here and I have drug out all these craziness tools, and I just,
Cause you got stuck in my mind, stuck in my mind, stuck in my mind. I thought I'd give